crowd. Hello, Hamilton, no kings.
Woo!
I just love seeing this marvelous, creative, active, and peaceful crowd. Thank you to the organizers for hosting this rally and for inviting me to speak. I'm truly honored to be here today. My short remarks are kind of dark, but I promise to end with hope and brightness. As people around the country rally today, there are 1,000 things to address, 1,000 ways those occupying power in our nation are behaving like kings, like tyrants, like a gang of tyrannical marauders, devastating American science and healthcare, rolling back environmental and civil protections, demolishing the rule of law. Millions of you are pushing back against this destructive tyranny, and the array of signs here well conveys our diverse concerns. But I want to focus on the linchpin of the autocratic campaign, ethnic and racial targeting. Domination requires scapegoats. Tyrants require targets, an enemy within. The most vital tool of tyrannical power is to vilify a category of people. In the Third Reich, Nazis went after leftists, homosexuals, and Roma, but their prime target was always the Jews, and their campaign against Jews was the core engine of their power. Tyranny in Russia over the past 30 years has worked the same way. Putin first went against the Chechen people, labeled them terrorists, and waged a brutal war against them. When that was politically successful, Putin turned the country's hate against Ukraine. While doing research in Moscow over the past decades, I watched as step by step by step, the Putin regime crushed civil society, killed opposition leaders, and pushed millions into exile and hiding. The state media whipped Russian society into a thirst for violence against democratic liberal Ukraine in the years before launching a genocidal war. Tyrants ramp up their violence as they seduce their people into compliance and complicity. It took Putin years to accomplish this. Here, it seems to be going faster. The wannabe despots in Washington follow other tyrants' helpful roadmaps. They tell us that themselves. Listen to the words of Trump, officials like Stephen Miller, and young Republican lawyers and political staffers as they celebrate white supremacy, Hitler, and the Holocaust. They do not hide their violent ambitions for our society. The Trump gang's tyrannical project uses immigrants as its violent focal point in an ongoing campaign of hate, a campaign they tell us openly is all about white supremacy. Right-wing leaders and media rant about blue cities, their shorthand for multiracial, multinational communities. They tell us they want only white, English-speaking immigrants. 4 days ago, the Department of Homeland Security put up a one-word post on X. It said, "Re-migrate," and a follow-up post urged immigrants to self-deport. Re-migrate is not a random word. It has long been used by white nationalists in Europe and around the world to promote ethnic cleansing. The unleashing of ICE is the most dramatic manifestation of the wannabe king's campaign against diversity in America. Republicans in Congress funded ICE to the tune of $75 billion, expanding this unaccountable federal police force whose main mission is to intimidate and terrorize. This past month, my hometown of Chicago has been the target of Operation Midway Blitz. In one night of that ongoing operation, ICE agents stormed an apartment building, swooped down from Black Hawk helicopters, and used explosive charges to blow down apartment doors. They ransacked every room, throwing furniture out the windows. They handcuffed all of the residents, including children. They separated them by race, and they held them in U-Haul vans for hours. Many were African Americans. All of this was a warrantless search, violating the due process of every person detained even briefly in that raid. No criminal charges resulting from this raid have yet been made public. Agents filmed it and produced a taunting music video, which you can find on the DHS account on X. Residents' faces are exposed and a triumphalist military soundtrack blares. The video is a blatant celebration of racist violence, of the violation and traumatizing of people of color. Closer to home, in rural Cayuga County, ICE used military force in a factory raid in early September. This raid was also carried out without a criminal warrant. They arrested 57 people, again, sorting them by racial profiling. 5 of the arrested were charged with unlawful entry. None have been charged with violent crimes. Spectrum and other news outlets provided evidence that people with legal work authorization were placed into detention or deported. None of them received due process, access to their immigration lawyers, or the hearings to which our law entitles them. Boo! 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 Some of the detained have U.S. citizen children who can't get in touch with their parents. Some of our elected officials brush off the continuing detentions of dozens of non-criminals in that raid as collateral damage. Many brush off the detentions, saying if they're legal, they should carry their papers. In all of their raids and roundups, ICE agents demand instant proof of citizenship or lawful residency. But visa holders do not just get cards that say legal or documented. More often, they have a sheath of complex papers accompanying a little stamp in a passport. Indeed, I ask you, what do you carry in your wallet that proves you are a citizen or here lawfully? Nothing. Good luck with the credit card. Because we care about due process, the rule of law, and our immigrant neighbors, it is crucial to act now and act all the time. Read everything you can find about these and similar ICE raids. Dig beyond mainstream media to find local reporting on ICE operations. Wherever you live, recognize that masked agents in unmarked vans could appear in your neighborhoods or workplaces, or stop people at random in public based on ethnic profiling. Not good, and the Supreme Court has just okayed that. Immigrant friends and friends of color in Hamilton tell me that that has happened to them for a long time in their vehicles, racial and ethnic profiling. It now promises to be much worse. Be ready for the inconceivable. Collaborate with others to be ready. Build networks of help and care. They have never been more important. For hope and inspiration, look for local reporting on the resistance. It is growing in effectiveness. Look at how it's growing. Folks all over are using all sorts of nonviolent civil disobedience. The inflatable animals in Portland and here are only one example. Read about the whistles people now use in Chicago to warn their neighbors, and the sheer protective power created when neighbors peacefully block ICE incursions through just the size of their crowds. Support political action on this issue, find out about the MELT Act before the New York State Senate and Assembly. That stands for Mandating the End of Lawless Tactics, MELT. Contact your state senator and assembly person to tell them you support this act. Talk with all of your political representatives at the town, county, state, and federal level about your concerns. Pastor them. Go to county legislative meetings. You have great power to inform them because so few citizens attend or speak to them. So speak up. Be polite. Speak to elected officials of every party with trust for their integrity, professionalism, and humanity until they prove that trust wrong. We must let them see that many people, all kinds of people, care about immigrants and communities of color targeted by this tyrannical campaign. One thing some of you know I am doing is running a quiet write-in campaign for Madison County Sheriff.
Yeah!
I want to convey that there are many people here who oppose the sheriff signing an agreement to partner with ICE.
Boo!
I have been outspoken on this issue and met twice with Sheriff Hood and his staff to convey my opposition. I'm not sure it did any good. Write me in for sheriff if you want to send a message on November 4th that you too oppose ICE mass detentions and deportations.
Woo!
You will find that there are political openings of all kinds, places ripe for insight and change, even among those you think are political opponents. Find the openings, exploit the openings, work and speak out on all of the issues that matter to you, but please pay close attention to the White Supremacy Project. It is the point of the sword for this regime. Targeting immigrants gives our wannabe tyrants a lot of their power, and we can and must find ways to deny them that power.
Woo!
By gathering today, we join with millions of others to let the regime know if you come for one of us, you are going to have to come through all of us.
Yeah!
Today, as we gather, we're telling them that like the patriots, abolitionists, suffragettes, and civil rights activists before us, we will never give way to kings or tyrants.
Woo!
By reaching out to take our neighbors' hands, we form a momentous, a historical chain of solidarity which will not ever be broken.